And so she cut me off earlier, and she was like, hello.
Right.
Look. She's like,
what
listen.
the boy say? What did he say?
So what he said was, so we were going good at first, right? We were going good. He would show up to things. He would, whatever he said he was going to do, he did it. But I could see some hesitation and all of that. And I realized it wasn't about me because I'm a communicator. So I would force him to communicate, but I wouldn't force him like, what is it? So I would force him to communicate by relaying my thoughts and my feelings about me and the situation. So how I got him to really open up the last time, and here's why I'm here and here's what I like about you. Okay? So I said, here's what it is. And so I went down the list, and he was like, whoa, okay. So he sent back to me, thank you for always being a good communicator. He said, you communicate very openly and very clearly. He said, I appreciate it. What I was doing was I was battling me, Enoch. I was like, I was always told, and sometimes it was true, that I exit situations prematurely or hastily. That I would just be like, oh, he said this wrong or he did that wrong. I'm out. I'm done. That would be how I would relay it to some people and to them sometimes. But I wouldn't go all deep in because, like, I'm not feeling you. I mean, your energy seems off, and I feel like you're speaking to a place in me that I'm healing from, and I don't want to do this with you.
But how do you make time for all that shit, though? Like,
I'm gonna get to it. I'm gonna get to it.
Okay, I got you.
With him, I'm bringing you there. So with him, he is somebody who's out there who does things with bands, and he's traveling, and they're there in different countries and different places and all these different things. And I have a business. I'm a mother. Now 2 podcasts, but at the time, you and I were working to build this podcast that we're on now. And then I had the brunch business, and then I was being invited out to host and show. And so me and Cousin Nickel, we're out and we're about and we're doing this and we're doing that, but I'm still making time to cook this motherfucker dinner, to meet this motherfucker out for dinner, to go to different shows, to do this and do that, and still like use technology to video chat and do all of this and that. I'm still making the time. Why? Because I was interested.
Right.
Because I was interested. So on the go, I'm calling you via video chat because, nigga, don't forget what these look like. No, we're not having sex. We're not doing any of that. He is genuinely courting me. He's genuinely courting me, and I'm being courted. So we're not like sleeping together, none of this. And this is months in. So it's not like, oh, he hit it already. So no, you simple niggas, that's not what it's about. He's genuinely courting me, but the minute the roads got rough, the minute that you didn't respond the way I liked and I said something to you, the minute that you, first of all, let me say this in his defense, he wasn't always responding well. But I stood in a place where I thought that I should have stood, and I now know that was wrong. Because you got to know if you're acting out of a misleading place or if you're acting out of a healed place. And because people would always say, you cut off too quick. You dismiss people too quick. You do this too quick. And I was like, am I though? Am I? I'm just not being honest with you about why I'm not cutting. And so I stood somewhere longer than I should have because he showed me signs of being arrogant, as in not wanting to learn. But when you say that to him, it was pushing a button, and he wouldn't make time for me. And I would have to say things to him like, if you're not into me, say you're just not that into me. It's okay. And then he'd be like, no, I'm very into you. But I'm like, but you only make time when you want to make time. When we have Sundays through Saturday, and you actually can fit hours and time in. I'm like, when you're working out with your dudes at the gym for 5 hours, when you're doing like, and I mean, he would reach out during this time, and I would get videos and this and that. You know what I mean? But again, I'm like, that's not enough. So I feel like
enough? What's enough?
Enough is when you're interested. When you're interested, you're going to balance out all of these days and hours, and technology makes it so easy for us to stay connected in the midst of trying to balance out, not trying, because trying means you're not doing. Mm-hmm. Technology makes it easier for us to balance out and to stay connected in the midst of balancing out our schedules. By no means am I going to tell you to leave money on the table, ever, at all. That's not me.
Right.
Enoch, you don't care about certain things. I do. I like passports. I have it. I like stamps to Italy. I like leaving the country. I like dressing nice. And I like ambiance. I like supporting chefs, high-end chefs that make great meals. So when I'm connecting with dudes who are doing these things and making the money to support themselves and to sustain the things that they like and they're into, never am I going to ask you to leave money on the table. I'm not. Because I'm not going to leave money on the table for you.
I mean, you shouldn't
or anyone
leave money
else.
on the table.
No.
Right.
But what I'm going to do is say, hey, I have this to do. So let's look at the end of the week. You let me know how your schedule's looking, and let's make it work.
Okay.
And that's what I was doing.
Okay. So does he have children or anything?
He has no children. And I've learned that. Look, he has no children. He's a left brainer. He's very logical and robotic and this and that. And I attract a lot of left brainers. I don't know why.
I know who you're talking about. No, I don't.
You do not. No, you do not.
I don't know.
If you had to change to my... Okay, I was about to say something. No, because if I say that, then people will be like, oh, shit, that's him. I was going to say, if you had to change to something, you would have known who it was. I'm not going to say that because I don't want to put that out there because he's a known person. And, I don't want to put that... I don't want no shit because he'll swear to God. He'll swear to God because he's so caught up in his own self. It's his show that he will make it like, damn, you talking about it on my show. It's relevant, though, because this is my last thing, And so I will say this, is that he was so caught up in his stuff, in him, and like, oh, you're into me? You know what I mean? Like, he really stood on ego. So he will tell you that he wasn't standing on ego, but everything that came out of his mouth was ego. Because I told him at the end, when it all ended, I said, we were hanging out for months. You didn't know that this is what I was doing, and that this is what I was going through, and that in the midst of, because I was, I hired a PI firm to find my biological father.
Right.
And that took place a month before, not before we met, but before we really started, we talked every day. We hung out, once or twice a week. You know what I mean? We did things, and, and that was because of me forcing him, And so, and I shouldn't have done that. But the thing is, I didn't feel comfortable with sharing certain things, like me looking for my biological father, because I didn't feel like he was really connecting with who I was. But he said something to me that made me stick around. He said, give me a chance to catch up. That's what he said. He didn't catch up.
Okay, so.
And we had a horrible falling out. And me making the time, I felt like I wasted time because I felt like I didn't fall back on what I should fall back on, what I should have. I felt like I didn't listen and pay attention to that inner voice. And I felt like I was acting out of a place that I shouldn't have, but I didn't know that until after. So I think that you make time for what you want to make time for, no matter how busy and how active and how much you're building.
Basically, making time for love or making time for that person whom you value enough to show the value in which, time is well spent or well earned, as you say.
I'm gonna speak from a woman's perspective. If a woman's not making time for love, she's not that into you.
She has a what?
She's not that into you. I don't give a shit if she has children or not.
Mm-hmm.
If she's not making time for love, she's not that into you. Or She doesn't know what the hell love is. She don't love herself. She don't know how to love you. It's a whole lot of things.
Right.
That's not natural for women, because just like it's not natural for women to just want to be physical with a dude. That's not natural. That comes from a place of some other stuff.
That comes from a place of what?
Of some other stuff.
Yeah.
I think it's violent sexually to just lay with a man and not want to hug him and kiss him and be affectionate. I don't have to be head over heels in love with you, but there has to be some connection between us that's deeper than physical.
Well, yeah, of course. You have to.
You say of course, but Enoch, it ain't all the time, though. Some women just want to get fucked, just like some men just want to fuck.
Some women have the energy of the reverse energy of a man. Some women really think like a dude.
I don't think it's thinking like a dude. I think it's thinking from a broken place.
A broken place versus, let's say, a broken place versus you're 45 and you're still in a broken place. You know, and then there's some women who just want to fuck. That's it.
But you're not hearing me out. That's not natural. It's not natural. Because sex, just like overeating, just like drugs or alcohol or over shopping and everything else, a vice is a vice is a vice.
But you make time for the vice. That's what I'm saying. You still make time.
When you have an addiction, you're not even consciously thinking about making time. What you're consciously thinking about is filling that void.
You still making time. You still gotta make time.
Yeah, but they're not thinking that. You're saying that like it's a clear-minded, logical thing. It's not. It's not.
It is a. When I talk about that, it is a bodily time that your body calls for it, and you make time to get it. If you are,
but it's not a conscious place. It's not conscious.
It is. It has to be, because if
you think that being an addict and being addicted and being broken and acting out of a place that is just the most broken, torn apart place of you, you really feel like you're acting out of a clear-minded conscious. How do you define conscious?
Okay, let me finish saying what I was saying before.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm saying is that you are still making time. There is still time being made for love. If you are addicted to drugs, if you are addicted to, this is my perspective, if you are addicted to drugs, if you are addicted to sex, you're still making time for it.
You're addicted to drugs, sex, love, emotions.
If it's a subconscious thing, it still comes forward to the conscious. Something has to open up your subconscious mind for these things to come forward. I'm not saying that a lot of people are not broken or from broken relationships or homes or whatever have you, but there's still time that this is taking place. If I'm into you, if I want to be with you, if I want to hang out with you, no matter how busy I am, I'm going to make time for it. I know functioning drug addicts.
You are speaking from a functioning place. You're speaking from a functioning place.
That's the only way I can speak.
Right.
Because
I can speak from a non-functioning and a functioning place. Because I don't like to stay in my own experience. And I know for a fact, out of my own experience, that there are love addictions. And let me explain to those who don't know what a love addiction is. When you come from a household where there was no affection, when you come from a household, even in the womb, when you were festering, and a woman saying, I don't want you, I don't want you, I don't want you, fuck, I'm here, I gotta have this baby. You're born into that. Before you're even born into it, you simmered in it. And then you come out. And then you get this person or these people who walks away, or one who stays and doesn't have the tools to give you, and they just merely feed you, clothe you, put you through school and tell you, oh, you fucked up, you did wrong. Okay? So what that produces is people who have love addiction. And love, the term love is used very loosely because this is a psychological term. So any addiction, I don't care what it is, you are not acting out of a conscious place. It's impossible.
But
100% impossible. You're making time, but not consciously.
That's all I'm saying. That's my argument. You're still making